In 1886 and 1887, respectively, two short stories by Russian writer Anton Chekhov, Misery and The Kiss, are published. Among many others, of course, but those are the two that are relevant. Between 1933 and 1936, a teenager named Billy Strayhorn would write the song Lush Life, which would become a jazz standard after being performed for the first time by Kay David with the Duke Ellington Orchestra in 1948. It would go on to be performed by many artists over the years, including Chet Baker, Sammy Davis Jr., Tito Puente, Natalie Cole, and Lady Gaga. Between 1977 and 1985, when it became scheduled under the Controlled Substances Act, some American psychotherapists used the drug MDMA, also known as ecstasy, in treating their patients. I attempted to pronounce this drug's scientific name exactly once before I decided it wouldn't be worth trying for this video. In 1991, film and TV star Danny DeVito co-founded the film production company Jersey Films with Michael Shamberg. A third partner, Stacey Sher, would join later. Also in 1991, rapper and jazz singer Dana Owens, aka Queen Latifah, would start her acting career in two films, Jungle Fever and House Party 2. In 1992, screenwriter Richard LaGravenese would be nominated for an Oscar in the Best Original Screenplay category for the Terry Gilliam-directed film The Fisher King. In 1993, actress Holly Hunter would win an Academy Award for Best Actress in a Leading Role for the film The Piano. These events, among many others, would ripple out like drops in a pond, with the waves colliding together in 1998, leading to my favorite movie. A movie that completely upended how I viewed one of Hollywood's oldest and most successful genres.
My husband, he doesn't live here anymore. And if you see any mail for him, you can just throw it out.
We're going sad tonight.
My husband left me. What is she, 30? Some 30-year-old?
She's 34.
My husband cheated on me left and right. One day he tells me it's my fault he saw other women. So I picked up a knife and told him it was his fault I was stabbing him.
I wish I would have stabbed my husband.
How much do you need to give him? 400.
Why you always keeping me waiting?
Hey, Stevie.
You got a thing about keeping me waiting?
Vic, please, I already got a wife.
Your daughter?
Yeah.
I was going to make some coffee. Would you like a cup? Do you miss it being married?
Sure.
Why'd you split up?
She threw me out. Kind of took the fun out of the marriage for me.
I want to feel my life. I want to stop agreeing to things I don't really want.
And stop.
What was I so scared of that you were a better choice? The situation clearly called for me to attack him.
Hello!
Well, I always wanted my own business. To create something out of nothing. And what a feeling that must be.
It's a terrific idea.
We gotta get out. And for one night, forget all the ex-husbands and gay boyfriends. We're going.
Okay.
This girlfriend of mine gave me these.
What do they do?
Makes you want to just touch everybody.
You look very nice in your uniform.
Thank you.
You are so great. You keep on singing now.
I got plenty of bad times to sing about, don't you worry.
From director Richard LaGravenese, the screenwriter of Bridges of Madison County and The Fisher King.
I've had moments I'm just standing still. And then all of a sudden it starts to change.
Here's to finding more.
Living Out Loud.
So how long has it been since you've had a massage?
I don't remember.
Are there any specific areas you like me to concentrate on?
Can I decide later?
Produced by Danny DeVito, Michael Shamberg, and Stacey Sher.
Greetings, Starfighters. Welcome to the Arkle Studios entry to the One Musical Scene playlist. Just in case you are watching this from anywhere other than the playlist, which will be linked in the show notes, you may be wondering what One Musical Scene is. Which is a fair question. But why not let Nando himself explain it? Not on my behalf, we don't actually know each other, this is just a clip.
You know what time it is. It's that wonderful time of the year when all the YouTubers get together to talk about a scene they love. We've done marvelous scenes, we've done excellent scenes, and we've done villainous scenes. But this year, we're gonna do something a little different. Instead of scenes defined by a set of characters or a specific archetype, we're gonna be looking at something different. Something that almost all scenes have in common. Music. This is one musical scene. And if you feel so inspired, make your own video about a scene that you believe uses music in an interesting way. And then, title that video One Musical Scene dash whatever the title is, and send that to me, twitter.com/NandoVMovies or nandovmovies@gmail.com, and then I will put your video on the playlist.
Now, as you gathered from the title of this video and the trailer I just played, we are talking about the 1998 movie Living Out Loud. For those who've seen the movie, you might be inclined to think I'm going to talk about a scene that was featured in the trailer, along with the song that plays during it. I refer specifically to the scene where Holly Hunter's character, Judith, goes to a lesbian nightclub called Confessional after taking some MDMA, and dances to the song If You Love Me by 90s R&B group Brownstone. And it certainly is a great moment in the movie, even out of context. But here's the thing. In order to do a One Musical Scene video about that scene, it would require me to go into spoilers for pretty much the first 2/3 of the movie. The reason this is a concern for me? Simply put, this is not a well-known movie, despite the star power involved with it. The three leads, of course, but you also have noted character actors like Martin Donovan, Richard Schiff, Elias Koteas, and Tamlyn Tomita. This is also an early role for the gone too soon Willie Garson. So while it was likely never to be a blockbuster, you'd think it'd at least do fairly well with both critics and ticket buyers, right? Yeah. Set aside that audience score there, as Rotten Tomatoes didn't actually exist yet in 1998, or at least I think I didn't. But although more than half of its critical reviews were positive, 59 is not a great number. As for its box office numbers, the highest number I've seen is approximately $12.9 million. That was on a $10 million production budget. Now, those of you who already have an inkling of how Hollywood works are already wincing at that, but wait, it gets worse. That $12.9 million includes the overseas ticket sales. And I don't even know what the advertising budget for this movie was, and I'm not sure I want to. What I do want is for more people to see Living Out Loud. Hence, this video. Back to why I didn't choose the scene at Confessional for this video. I know that not everyone cares about spoilers. I myself have complex feelings on the matter. But personally, I'd like for people to go into Living Out Loud with as little foreknowledge as possible, and laying out the main character's path from inciting incident to catharsis before the third act in denouement is a lot of foreknowledge. It's not the whole movie, of course. There are minor characters and subplots, all pretty standard film stuff, but it's a lot. Another potential scene I could talk about would be the song Give Me Something Real, an original song written for this movie and performed by Clark Anderson. But there's not actually much to that scene story-wise. I certainly think the movie is better with it, but it wouldn't necessarily be worse without it. That probably seems counterintuitive on its face, but I stand by it. Damn good song, by the way. Frankly, the music chosen for this movie in general is great. The film and soundtrack even feature an enjoyable performance of You Can't Take That Away From Me, sung by Danny DeVito himself. And the movie ends on the classic 70s jam Hot Fun in the Summertime by Sly and the Family Stone. Which is really not a song I want to be thinking about this week. But that's not the song's fault. So what scene and song am I going to talk about? Again, this is something you probably already picked up from the title, but it is the song Lush Life. This is the song that plays over the opening credits and is performed by the film's third billed lead, Queen Latifah. The whole song isn't featured in the movie proper, but it is on the soundtrack album and also in an extended version of the opening credits on the DVD. Speaking of the DVD, good luck finding it. It's out of print now. You can tell how long by looking at the type of case this is in. I'm pretty sure they stopped using cases like these less than 2 years into the DVD format's run. What is this kind of case even called, anyway? Now, while I do want to keep spoilers to a minimum, I will be needing to give away some stuff to do this video at all. Much of it can be gleaned from the trailer, and to my mind, if it happens before the opening credits, for those movies that still do opening credits anymore, but I digress. It doesn't count as a spoiler. But for those who want to go into the movie even blinder than you should be after this is all over, here's your chance to bow out. Still here? Cool. Let's start by talking about what comes before the song and the opening credits. You've already seen part of it in the trailer I played earlier, where Holly Hunter is talking to Martin Donovan, and even without the character names, I think it's clear that what we are seeing in this sequence is the moment when a marriage begins to fall apart. After this is when the music kicks in. Like I said, the whole song doesn't play in the movie proper, so we'll start by simply addressing the lyrics that do play in the movie. Because when you hear these, you'll actually be getting a pretty good idea of where Holly Hunter's character is at this moment in her life and in the film. By the way, I know the character's name. I've seen this movie like 10 times, at least. It's just that her name, Judith, is also the name of my grandmother who died less than a year ago, so using it a bunch in this video just feels kind of weird.
Romance is mush, stifling those who strive. I'll live a lush life in some small dive, and there I'll be while I rot with the rest.
That last part, in particular the line, "and there I'll be while I rot with the rest," is a perfect description of what happens in the moments leading up to when Holly Hunter and Queen Latifah's character, the jazz singer Liz Bailey, start their friendship. That sequence is, at least to my mind, feel free to disagree in the comments, where the first act of the film concludes. Holly Hunter is very much drunk, or a lush, if you will. One of the two meanings of that word, in fact. The bar where Liz is performing could be said to be a small dive. It fits. There's a line after that of those whose lives are lonely too, but I left that part out because we don't actually know what's going on with most of the other characters in that scene as they are extras. Going back from that, we have romance is mush, stifling those who strive. This also fits where Holly Hunter is at this point in the movie. Without giving away too much, what precedes the first proper encounter between Holly Hunter and Queen Latifah, they sort of have like a ships in the night, passing in the night thing before this, but the former is having what would have been her first date since the divorce proceedings began, and it's not going as she hoped. But it also fits as she is also very much coming to the realization of just how much of her life she'd given up when she got married in the first place. The verse before all of that begins with,
A week in Paris will ease the bite of it all. All I care is to smile in the smile of it.
Holly Hunter has certainly been putting on a smile with people throughout the movie up to this point. I don't think Paris ever actually comes into it, unless I missed something. I know Italy does, but that's more to do with Phil, Danny DeVito's character. Anyway, after that we get,
I'll forget you, I will, while yet you are still burning inside my brain.
the amount of alcohol Holly Hunter imbibes in this scene fits with the idea of someone trying to drown a memory in booze. Though I imagine even those who don't drink are aware it doesn't really work that way. Further adding to the state of the main character being summed up in the song, we have,
Life is lonely again, and only last year everything seemed so sure.
While exact dates are not given, we can assume that it has been less than 12 months since the marriage began to officially fall apart, though doubtless there were signs well before that. There is one more lyric in the song here. Now life is awful again, a trough full of hearts would only be a bore. But to be honest, I'm not 100% sure where that fits here, so we'll skip that. Now, this is all just the parts of the song that are in the movie proper. Expand out to the whole thing, either on the soundtrack or as the deleted scene on the DVD. Man, I would love if there was a Blu-ray release for this movie. The cinematography alone, just gorgeous. Let's do the rest of the song from the beginning here.
I used to visit all the very gay places, those come what may places, where one relaxes on the axis of the wheel of life to get the feel of life from jazz and cocktails.
The very first scene of the movie, part of which also opens the trailer that you saw earlier, has our main character dressed up fancy in an expensive restaurant. And our first scene that fades in as the credits end are a decent-sized apartment in New York on Fifth Avenue, as the back of the DVD case describes it, which even in 1999, would have been on the pricey end of things. I think I put 1999 there because that was when I saw the movie, not when it came out. I'm leaving that in. And pricey end of things is putting it mildly. I don't know how anyone who isn't a one-percenter can afford to live in New York at this point. The very last line of that first verse, as you heard, goes, "through jazz and cocktails." I imagine I don't even need to describe how this is relevant to the character, but just to give a little more away, the opening song turns out to be somewhat diegetic as Holly Hunter is listening to it in her apartment with a glass of wine in her hand. As an aside, diegetic is just a fun word to say, isn't it? Pause this video and just say it to yourself a few times. You'll see I'm right. The next verse goes thus.
The girls I knew had sad and sullen gray faces with distant K traces that used to be there. You could see where they'd been washed away by too many through the day. 12 o'clock tales.
This is where we divert a little bit, as really this lyric is closer to how one might imagine Queen Latifah feels watching Holly Hunter's from an outsider's perspective, particularly when, well, the latter is drunkenly heckling a singer on what's clearly an open mic night. This one's a bit of a stretch on my part, admittedly. Moving on, the rest of the first half of the song before what we actually get in the movie goes like this.
Then you came along with your siren song to tempt me to madness. I thought for a while that your poignant smile was tinged with the sadness of a great love for me. Ah, yes, I was wrong. Again, I was wrong.
Well, you did hear me mention earlier how the scene that ends Act 1 of the movie was the result of a date not going well. This really does fit that bill. I'm not sure how to describe this without going into major spoiler territory. So I won't. Let's just have a timestamp on the screen for people to skip to. While visiting the club earlier in the movie, Holly Hunter tries to find the bathroom but accidentally ends up outside in the back alley where a stranger pulls her in close for a kiss. Said stranger, played by Elias Koteas, panics when he realizes that he's kissing Holly Hunter's character as he was expecting someone else, an ex he was hoping to reconnect with. The two end up in conversation, and the guy, who never gets a name in the movie, is forced to admit that it was a bad idea and wouldn't have worked, and besides, Holly Hunter didn't see anyone who fit her description in the club anyway. They end up making plans for a date at the same club at a later night. Now, what happens next is actually open to interpretation. The good news is, the worst you're probably thinking doesn't happen. In fact, after they touch hands one last time before Holly Hunter heads home, we never see him again. The least likely scenario here is that he did happen to bump into his ex later that night and they ended up getting back together after all. More likely are, at least in my opinion, the two following options. One, it was all a joke to him and he was just being a dick, building up a lonely woman's hopes with no intention of ever following through, not even for sex. Actually, if it had been for sex, it would have been much worse. The second option is that he simply chickened out. The movie never actually tells us, and honestly I'm not sure it needs to. What's important is how being stood up affects Holly Hunter and what results from that. Okay, spoiler part over. Welcome back, everyone. Did you get some water while you were away? Never underestimate the value of proper hydration. So yeah, that verse, in particular the line, "I was wrong again," really fits with where our main character is at this point in her life and in the movie. I know I harp on that a lot, but that's the point of this video. I certainly think so, anyway. Agree? Disagree? Either way, leave a comment. Comments help feed the unholy beast that is the YouTube algorithm. A creature we must never see in its entirety, lest we go mad with the knowledge. And sorry if that ending was quite abrupt there, but I mean, I think I did say all I needed to say with regards to how the song fits with the character and where she's at. Again, at the point in the movie where she and Queen Latifah finally start to begin their friendship. So, if you came here by way of the One Musical Scene playlist, welcome. I go by Arkle online, but my real name is not a secret, as it is the name of my account here on YouTube. You can use either, I don't particularly care. Pronouns are he, him. My main show is called Shameless Cash Grab, where I look at movies that were bundled together in sets ranging with 4 or more movies, loosely grouped around a theme. Very loosely in the case of some of the films in Season 3. I recap the plots while making jokes, and I occasionally have something insightful to say. Then I rank the movies against each other in a season wrap-up episode. I also have an ongoing Star Trek Online Let's Play series featuring the Defiant class USS Perth Amboy, and I do tier ranking videos occasionally. I hope some of you all decide to subscribe to my little channel, but as much as that, I hope some of you who may never even known the movie Living Out Loud existed until just now, decide to give it a look. It really left an impression on 17-year-old me when I first saw it. It was really the start of my journey to realizing actually how pretty fucked up most Hollywood rom-coms are. As an aside, there is another movie called Living Out Loud from 2009. I have no opinions on that whatsoever. I have not seen it, and I know pretty much nothing about it except that Gail O'Grady from NYPD Blue and Michael Shanks from Stargate SG-1 are in it. Anyway, have fun, stay safe, disregard the constabulary. Oh, and Nando, if you happen to be seeing this, multiple man for a future fan casting the MCU video, please? Thank you. X-Men The Last Stand did Jamie Madrox dirty. We all know this.
Our first movie is Living Out Loud, and this is one of those films that enchants us by taking the ordinary lives of lonely but colorful people and investing them with a little humor and magic. Holly Hunter plays a woman who was just split from her husband, a wealthy surgeon. Danny DeVito plays a compulsive gambler down on his luck, whose wife is throwing him out and whose daughter has just died. In ordinary times, they wouldn't have much in common, but misfortune makes for strange friendship.
Where you going?
The Hunter character drinks and smokes too much and looks for happiness in a slinky nightclub presided over by a torch singer, wonderfully well played by Queen Latifah.
I was married. My husband cheated on me left and right.
DeVito, as the elevator operator, of course, observes all her comings and goings and nurses a hope that she'll consider him for romance. Their friendship deepens as one evening he reminisces about his daughter.
This is very nice. Thank you.
Oh, please. I didn't feel like going to sleep anyway.
Danny DeVito and Holly Hunter are two actors who hum with energy and charisma. If they're on the screen, you watch them. The Queen Latifah character comes in from left field, and I'm delighted that she did because her arrival in the middle of their story keeps it from ever growing conventional. Living Out Loud was written and directed by Richard LaGravenese, who wrote the screenplays for The Horse Whisperer, The Bridges of Madison County, and Beloved. Here he shows a writer's love for original characters and beautifully heard dialogue.
Well, I'm glad you pointed out the relationship between Queen Latifah coming in from left field, because also, if you really think about it, the co-op resident and her doorman is also left field. This is special because it throws us off, and why not? This happens.
Yeah, people meet somebody, and because they're desperate and because they're lonely and because they're out there, they go back because that person was friendly.
And again, I think DeVito is simply and consistently one of the most original talents we have in movies, whether he's behind the camera or in front of it.
DeVito and Hunter, but I want to mention again Queen Latifah because I liked her so much in Set It Off. Now, this is a woman who doesn't fit the conventional mold of movie casting.
Of course.
And she's going to have characters written for her and movies built around her or movies that can use her. I hope that Hollywood doesn't waste this resource. She is so much fun.
She's high energy. Okay, next movie.